All right, good afternoon, everyone. Um, Obviously, my name is John Dipolina, and I am the Director of Golf here at Lyman Orchards. And I want to thank all of you for joining me today for this Lyman Orchards Golf Club Ladies League little presentation. We used to do this in person, but with COVID, we have to do it a little bit differently, so we're doing it a little differently now, and maybe it's a little more comforting. You can wear your PJs and you can take part in this adventure here for the next 45 minutes to an hour. One thing I would tell you is if you have any questions, we're going to try to save them for the end. I'll try to answer them all. Just jot them down so that we can answer them. I'm sure some of the ladies are going to have the same questions as you. So I'll ask you to do that, kind of hold the questions till the end, and we will get started. So here we go. Welcome back. Greg Murdoch and I are excited to play host to the Ladies League. I'll be overseeing the Apple 9 course Ladies League as I did last year. Greg Murdoch returns, and he will be overseeing the Ladies League on Jones and Player. On the left is basically an itinerary of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to start out with the Apple 9. We'll move into Jones Player. We'll talk about the most important question, which a lot of ladies have asked me about, the social versus competitive divisions and why we decided to put two divisions together. We'll talk about the fees. We've taken a lot of questions over the winter about golf rules and helpful hints, so I want to share some of those with you today. We'll talk about some very basic golf etiquette. A lot of ladies over the past season have asked me about what is the scoring system, so we'll go into that a bit and talk about maximum score on both courses and how it's different at Jones Player versus Apple and why. We'll talk about the prizes. We'll talk about finally how to sign up through USchedule, how you'll be signing up through that, and then from there how you'll sign up on a weekly basis for your tee times through Golf Genius. I'll talk finally about special events that we are going to be hosting here at the on Lyman property this year. So the first thing we'll talk about is the social league. So the social league is everything that you remember about the league in the past seasons. It's the same price, $95. It's weekly contests, just like you remember them here at the Apple 9, and they'll be obviously closest to the pin prize. 2 years ago, Greg Murdoch and I put in a very, very basic handicapping system. The reason we put this handicapping system in is because the same players were winning each and every week, the players that were the best. What the handicap system does is it allows the best players in the league and the most novice players in the league to compete against each other on a weekly basis. It gives everybody a chance to win some prizes, and that's why we developed the basic handicap system. There's obviously still the weekly discounts on greens fees if you're part of the social league. There'll still be the ladies closing day banquet. And one of the questions that I have gotten over the winter here is, can I still play with my friend if my friend is in the competitive league? And the answer to that is yes. The decision of which league you play in will have no effect on who you can play with. It's just going to be scored differently on the back end when Greg and I sit down on essentially Thursday nights, Friday mornings, and start scoring the weekly league. So that's social league. It's 99% of what you remember in the past. The only big change to social league is there will not be a social league competition on the Jones and Player course. So in social league will only feature net scoring. The next is the competitive league. The competitive league is the new league. And we have a lot of ladies who graduated in our league from year to year. They've taken, lessons from Marissa and Andra and John Wilson through the years, and they're getting better and better, and they want to compete a little bit. I think that about a quarter of the ladies that were in our league are going to really want to grasp at this competitive league division, but we didn't want to lose you. We wanted to offer something for you. And what we've done is we've offered a competitive league. You'll see that the price is gone up. It goes to $145. That $145, that extra $50 goes towards the official USGA handicap. So we don't just do an internal handicap. We do a legitimate gin handicap, the same handicap that the men's club uses on Saturdays and Sundays, the same handicap that Greg and I used as when we were playing amateur golf. It's the same one. It's legitimate. It's the same one you could take to a different course and plot it into their plotter and compete at member guests, for instance. So that's one of the reasons the prize, that money has gone up. The second is because the prize money has gone up for the competitive league. So we've added a little more money in there, and we've added that handicap aspect, the official handicap aspect. You'll still have weekly discounts on greens fees. You'll still have your closing day banquet all together. And a reminder that the people in the competitive league can most certainly play with their friends in the social league. It doesn't really affect that. One thing I'll push for the competitive league is a little more diligence when it comes to following the rules, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But that's the competitive league. Each lady is probably going to fall into one or the other. If you're not sure which league to participate in, I actually will tell you to join social league. And then you can always graduate up to competitive league. It's going to get a little challenging if you pay the $145 and then want to go down to social at $95. We'll make it work if you do that. But my suggestion is if you're on the fence and you're like, I'm not sure which way to go. I like to compete, but I don't know if I want to compete that much, then go to social. If you know you have that competitive bug in you, then you should definitely be in competitive. Next, let's talk about the Apple 9 course specifically. Pace of play on the Apple 9 course is 1 hour and 45 minutes max. The course is a very easy walking course. It's very short from green to tee, mostly par threes and short par fours. Maximum time around the golf course really should be 145. We'll be offering times just like we did last year on Tuesday mornings from 8:30 to 11 a.m. every 10 minutes. Tuesday p.m., same time frame. Actually, it's going to be 4 o'clock to 6:50 every 10 minutes on Tuesday nights. And we'll also add the Thursday competition. The Thursday competition will go from 4:30 to 5:50. At any point during the course of the year, if we're selling those Thursday times out, for instance, I'll add more. I'll add a 4:20. I'll add a 6 o'clock. We'll add more times. We don't want to run out of times on you ladies, but we do want to still sell the tee sheet out and try to keep your league in an intense area, as opposed to spreading everybody out all over the golf course. Both social and competitive divisions, when they're playing on the Apple 9, will compete from the green apples. If you choose to play from the yellow apples or the orange apples because you want to, that's fine. There's no advantage, and there's no advantage to playing from those tees. You're not going to be scored any differently. Next is the Jones Player course. Pace of play on Jones Player for 9 holes is 2 hours and 15 minutes maximum, about 15 minutes a hole. Wednesday is our option to play Jones Player, 10:33 every 9 minutes through 11:09 in the morning, so that's 5 times. And then in the afternoon, 5 times as well, 4:33 to 5:09. Again, I've spoken with Greg and I've spoken with our general manager, Jason Beefer, and if we start selling out all the morning times, we'll add a 6th, we'll add a 7th, and vice versa. A competitive division can participate from both the red and gold tees in the same gross and net divisions. So what's that mean? Well, last year we had separate competitions for the red tees and the gold tees. This year, because we're utilizing that legitimate handicap system, you'll be able to compete against ladies. If you play the red tees, you'll be able to compete against the gold tee ladies in the same manner. Obviously, it'll be scored a little bit differently using their algorithm, but you'll be able to utilize that same prize pool, so you'll play for a little bit larger prize pool than you did last year. I can go really into depth with that, but if you just know it's kind of an algorithm that figures it out for you, you should go with that. Social division participants, you'll have the opportunity to play on Wednesdays, AM and PM, for that same league rate, but there won't be an official competition. We feel like we want to make sure that the competitive players we want to lure you into the competitive league, and the best way to do that is to make sure that you're into that competitive league and up at Jones Player. I think that if you like to play Jones Player, you're going to have to join our competitive league if you want to compete. And then at the bottom, I put protect the field. Again, it's going into the rules a little bit. If you see someone blatantly cheating, or if you see someone who's cheating but doesn't even know they're cheating, you have to protect the field. That means if Greg and I are in different groups and I'm completely cheating, someone in my group needs to call me out on it. It's up to the people in the group to protect the field. When we play in tournaments for the Connecticut Section PGA, or Marissa and Andra play for the LPGA, the rules official doesn't follow every group. It's the players protecting the other players. So I'm going to ask all the competitive league players to hold. I'm going to hold you to that standard, because it's a little more serious. We're playing for a little bit more dough, and it's a little more serious aspect as opposed to social league, where I know people are just trying to learn the game still. But that's one of the things that's going to go into Jones player, especially in the competitive league. What are the fees? I think you'll see that the fees are the same price as last year. $15 per week at Apple to walk, $6 for the pull cart, $9 to ride. Jones player, it's $30 per week. It includes the cart. I think it's still $30 if I'm not mistaken if you decide to walk. The player course really is not walkable on the front nine. The Jones is, but the price points will stay the same in 2021. Golf etiquette and rules. We talked a little bit about pace of play earlier. Just to rehearse that, Apple 9's an hour and 45 minutes. Jones players 2 hours and 15 minutes. Keep an eye on that group in front of you. Make sure you're keeping up with the group in front of you. If you're keeping up with the group in front of you, there's nowhere to go. If you start seeing that the group in front of you is a hole back, a hole front of you, 2 holes in front of you, it means you're going to have to pick it up. The number one complaint we get in the golf business, whether it's junior league, ladies league, men's league, recreational play, has always been pace of play. How to play faster. I want to thank a couple of the ladies for sending me some tidbits on from their other leagues on how to play faster, and I'm going to include this on the Golf Genius website, so if you ever want to take a look at it, you'll be able to see it again. Be ready to hit. Ball, tee, and club in hand. It's something I teach every junior at 6 years old. When it's your turn to hit, you should have all 3 of those ready to go on the tee. If you don't, you're not ready to play golf. Go to your ball, drop the player off. What do I mean by that? Let's just say Greg and I are in the same group and we are riding together, but my ball's on the left side of the fairway and Greg's is on the right. I'm driving, I'll drop Greg off on the right, I'll drive over to the left. While Greg will hit his shot. After he hits his shot, he walks over to my cart, and maybe I'll meet him halfway in the middle. That speeds pace of play up quite a bit on a regular basis. That'll speed pace of play up, especially on Jones and player. Analyze your putt while others are putting. So if we're all on the green, you should be kind of doing your homework before it's your turn, as long as your ball isn't in the way of someone else's ball. This is an easy way for everybody to speed up. Something I teach every single junior, Greg will know this for sure. Take 1 practice swing. I see so many people on the golf course taking 6 or 7 practice swings and then just chunking it. Those 6 or 7 practice swings didn't do you any good. And I'll tell you, the other 3 ladies in the group, they don't want to see you swing 6, 7 times in a practice swing. They do not care to watch you make practice swings. Just be ready to go when it's your turn. 1 practice swing and go. Leave the clubs between the hole and your bag/cart. So if you're on the green, you just finished chipping, put your bag halfway between the next hole and the pin, or leave it somewhere on the walk back to the cart. You don't really want to leave it in the front of the green, and then you have to walk off the back of the green. It's just a waste of time. You got to walk all the way to the front. You walk all the way back. It's just a big waste. Park the cart near the tee box. The next tee box. So, for instance, on number 2 here at the Apple 9, it's a par 4. A lot of ladies, a lot of men, a lot of juniors and their families will park right in front of the green or on the left side of the green. The best thing to do is to drive all the way around back next to the 3rd tee box. Why? For your own safety, number 1, so you don't get hit with a ball when someone tries to hit into you. And number 2, you'll be closer to the next tee box, shorter walk. I just kind of talked about park cart next to the next tee box, and then mark the scores on the following tee box. I'm bad at this myself. I like to write that score down right away. Whether you're writing the score down or putting it in electronically on your phone, go to the next tee box and do it. Let 3 other ladies tee off, and while they're teeing off, you put the score in. 3 minutes to search for a lost ball. Let's say you're hitting a ball, you don't know exactly where it is. You have 3 minutes to look for it. After 3 minutes, your time really expires, and you're supposed to go back to where you hit from and hit again. It's an unfortunate thing that happens in every single tournament. Doesn't matter if it's PGA Tour or PGA Junior League. It does happen, but you have 3 minutes. Keeping the flag stick in while putting was something we got used to last year because of COVID. It's a great way to speed up pace of play. It's one less thing to do as you walk off the green. I know a lot of people, especially if you've played a long time, you're used to seeing no flag in that hole. I challenge you to keep it in, see if you like it. And it might even help you on some of those long putts. It might slow your ball down if you hit it too hard. Provisional ball, second ball, should be played immediately if you're unsure where your ball is lost or out of bounds. So for instance, let's say we're playing number 7 at the Apple 9, the one that goes along the street, that little par 3 downhill 100 yards. If you hit your ball way, way left, and you're like, that ball might have gone into the street, it might have crossed the street, or I hit it and I'm like, that ball is way, way, way long. You might have to hit a provisional shot. If you end up finding your ball in play, you can play it, but if you can't find it, at least you saved the time of walking all the way back to the tee or taking an illegal drop. We don't really want you to take an illegal drop, especially in that competitive league. I put a couple things down for local rules, and I'll explain those a little bit more in depth online with some pictures. But there's going to be a couple of local rules on the Gary Player course number 5 and the Gary Player course number 8 on where to drop for pace of play reasons. I do realize that those forced carries are exceptionally difficult for a lot of players. Even number 3 has an exceptionally difficult forced carry, especially if the tee is back from the golds. I'll explain more of that online via the Golf Genius page. Penalty strokes must be applied to score. I know a lot of this might sound like I'm kind of yelling at the whole group. Trust me, I get these emails once a week, twice a week. I want to make sure that at the very beginning of the year that we kind of have addressed how to do these basic things. It's part of the game. But penalty strokes are supposed to be applied. And you have to ask yourself, is my ball out of bounds? So is it in the street on number 7 at Apple 9? Is my ball relieved from a penalty area? So what does that mean? That means, did I hit it into the high grass on number 3 on Apple 9 and not find it? Well, that means I have to take penalty because I didn't find my ball and wasn't able to play it. Is my ball lost? I don't know where it went, just kind of lost it. Am I taking relief from an unplayable lie? Meaning my ball is right next to it, the trunk of a tree. I can't hit it because I could hurt myself. You can't just take a free lift because we're worried about breaking our wrists. You're supposed to take that 2 club lengths and penalty. I'd be happy to talk about this more in person, or I'll put a little bit more of a blurb on that Golf Genius website. But these are things we really need to take into consideration, especially in that competitive league. Penalty areas versus out of bounds. What's the difference? Penalty areas are marked by red and yellow stakes. You'll see them almost always around water and swampy areas. Number 3 on Apple 9 on the left side is marked red. That's a swampy area. You might not find your ball. You might lose a shoe if you go in there at the wrong time of year. Number 2 on the player course has a stream that runs right across it. That's marked with a yellow stake. They mean different things, red and yellow. I'm not going to really go into too big of a description on the difference between red and yellow, but just know you can take 2 club lengths no closer to the hole, and that's pretty much going to be that will work for both cases. White stakes are different. White stakes are OB or someone else's property. We don't have too many white stakes on the Apple 9. We really don't have any. I had to make something up, number 7. That's really far to the left. The reason the white stakes are there is because no homeowner wants you to hit off their property, and we don't want anybody getting hurt. The street is an area where if the ball comes to rest, we don't want you hitting off the street. You could hurt yourself. Lyman Orchards doesn't have too much in the way of out of bounds or too much or homeowner areas. But you'll go to other courses where, especially Florida courses, where there'll be condos surrounding the fairways. If that's the case, people don't want you hitting off their lawn. I wouldn't want anyone hitting off my lawn. So, even though it's a lousy lawn, but that's one of the rules, and you'll see white stakes for that. I put down players in the group are responsible to keep the other people in the group honest. That goes into protecting the field, and it's just making sure that we're playing by the basic rules. Format. So some of the ladies have asked me what the format is for the league. The format is a Stableford. A Stableford is different than what you see on TV. TV is basically called stroke play, where Bryson DeChambeau, who won this week, had a total of 270 shots over 4 days. That's what a regular stroke play event is. Ours is Stableford. Ours rewards you for each hole if you do well. If you do really poorly, you get 0. If you do okay, you might get 2 points for a double bogey, 3 points for a bogey, 5 for par, 7 for a birdie, and 10 for an eagle. And then that's for the gross scoring. Net scoring is even more aggressive. It'll calculate your handicap in relation to that. Stableford's a great way to score because you can always forget about one hole. Let's say you play the first hole at the Apple 9 and you just had a miserable time and you made a 9. Or we shouldn't make a 9 there because you're supposed to pick up after 6. But let's just say you made 6. You don't worry about it. You made a 0 points. It's okay. Move on to the next hole where maybe you make a birdie. And now you're scoring in a different manner, and you can just forget about that first hole. It's not going to affect you too much. Let's talk about maximum scores on the holes and why they're different at each course. Apple 9, the maximum score is going to be a triple bogey. So it's a 6 on the par 3s, number 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. The maximum score is a 6. That means after 6, just pick the ball up. It's all done. Especially if there's a group behind you. If there's absolutely nobody behind you, you can keep playing a little bit, but it's going to hurt the pace of play. But 6 is a maximum on the par 3s, 7 on the par 4s. So that would be number 2 and number 9. On the Jones Player Course, it's a little different. The reason it's so different is because the length of the Jones Player Course is much longer. Par is not 29 like it is on Apple. It's par 36, and the holes are just longer. So the maximum on the par 3s will still be 6. But on the par 4s, it's an 8, and on the par 5s, it's a 10. So if you think of double par on Jones Player, triple bogey on Apple, that should help you out quite a bit. And this will also be written down on the website. In fact, I'll put this whole presentation there. Prizes. Social division will be paid out with net prizes. So let's just say you went out and you're in the social division and you shot even par. I'm very happy for you, but you won't win a gross prize. You only win net prizes. So whatever you're in relation to your handicap, in relation to the rest of the field, will be determining who the winners of net prizes are. There'll be a closest to the pin sign out there. That'll be universal. So the closest to the pin winners will be paid out whether you're in social or competitive. Competitive division will have gross and net prizes. So if you shoot 36 on the player course and your handicap is 10, you're doing really well. You're probably going to win gross, but you have a chance to win net as well. The difference is we're paying out gross and net prizes as opposed to just net in the social division. Winning prize money is distributed in Pro Shop credit. Last year, we didn't really let anybody into the Apple 9 because of COVID and the footprint of the building being so small. Well, we feel that we have figured it out over the winter, and we're inviting everyone to come into the Pro Shop once again and pay their greens fees in person and check out what we have in the shop. Cassidy Collins, my golf shop manager for 2021, who you probably remember from last year, she's in charge of merchandising down here this year. She's done a fabulous job picking out a lot of great things up here. Up top, both Jason Beeford, Greg Murdoch, and Ashley Orgazalik will be running that shop, and they put together they'll put together a beautiful shop once everything comes in. Plenty of stuff to spend money on. There are other things you can spend your credit on. You can also use it on instruction. So let's just say, you've always wanted to do a lesson with Marissa. You can put your credits towards a lesson with Marissa. You can utilize that. The only thing that we don't allow you to use your credits for are greens fees or gift certificates. So if you want to use it for merchandise, you can. Instruction, you can. Range balls, you can. Just not greens fee, cart fees, or gift certificates. How do you sign up for the Ladies League? You'll see a screen here. I took a screenshot of our USchedule page. So you're going to make a decision on whether you want to sign up for competitive division or social division right there. From that screen, you'll follow the prompts. If you've ever signed up for any of our program, Golf for Women programming, or even a lesson, the site is pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy. You have to sign up. You have to register for an account. Most of you ladies have already done that. If you're having trouble with this, it's okay. You can always call the pro shop, and my team here at the Apple 9 will be able to sign you up manually. Just make sure you tell them whether you want to be in the competitive league or the social league. After you sign up for that, Cassidy goes into the back end and she manually puts you into Golf Genius. You'll receive another email from Golf Genius asking you to register for the league. And once you do that, you'll be able to start booking your times. The Golf Genius app makes it very easy to do all of this. You can do it from your phone. Great success last year with the scoring. I utilized the scoring in the winter golf trip that I ran every year. Putting it in your phone is very easy. If you still want to do it the old-fashioned way and write it on the scorecard, that's fine. You can turn it into the pro shop this year, as the pro shops will be open to collect those cards. And if you have any questions about scoring, obviously, come and find us. If you have any questions about rules, I would leave that to Greg and me. I wouldn't ask my team down here at the Apple 9. They're not as golf savvy as Greg and I. So we'll just say, if you have any questions about those things, email Greg or I. But I'm going to go back to Golf Genius here, backtrack here. This is an email registration that you'll get. You'll confirm that registration. You'll be able to create your own password. Obviously, we don't know anyone's password. This is how you'd sign up for a tee time registration. You select the player from the list. Pick the time that you'd like to play. Pop your name in there. You can see Jason Beeford popped his name in there in purple. Simple as that right there. And then don't forget to push done so it saves and you'll be all set. The final big topic to talk about is our special events. Last year's special events, they took a little bit of a hiatus, and once again because of COVID, but we know they're fun. We know that the ladies love them, and we love hosting them because of all the energy that's brought to the Jones and Player courses that we generally don't see on a regular basis up there. So we'll have Golf for Fun Scrambles. We've put 3 on the calendar. Golf for Fun Scrambles, for those of you who don't know, it's 9 holes, or as many holes as you can get in 2 hours and 15 minutes. Up on Jones Player, it's played in a scramble format, which means everyone in the group tees off, pick the best shot, and then you go from there till the ball is holed. It's a great way to introduce yourself to those golf courses if you've never played before, or you feel like, boy, those courses are really hard up top. This is a good way to introduce yourself. You'll be able to sign up on, actually I put Golf Genius. The truth is you're going to sign up for it on USchedule first. That's how we'll be taking the payment for the Golf for Fun Scrambles. Women's Golf Day, it's June 1st. It's a 9-hole event. It's followed by a banquet. This is a big favorite of Marissa Crow's and Andra's, as you can imagine. They love hosting this event. They usually put on a couple complimentary clinics prior to it. There's a raffle, a complimentary raffle that's in there. There's prizes. Everybody will always start at the same time. You can sign up for that. It says on Golf Genius, but it's actually USchedule. And it's a wonderful opportunity to support women's golf. June 1st, I would circle that date. Putt for Pink Breast Cancer Classic. It's way in the distance, October 5th. I'm not looking forward to October 5th quite yet, but I want you to know that we have something on the calendar. Another golf benefit tournament. It's going to be running in a similar fashion as Women's Golf Day. You'll see Marissa on the mic for that one for sure. She loves doing the banquets, as you guys have seen in the past. And it's just a great time. It's a lot of fun just to raise money for a great cause and enjoy a good day of golf. The final special event we have is Couples League. So this will be my third year running Couples League. And when we first put Couples League together here at Lyman, we really weren't sure what to think of it. We really were like, we'll see if it takes off here at the Apple 9. Well, as soon as I put it out there, it sold out. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Let's put it out there again in 2020. Well, COVID hit. I'm like, I don't know if we're going to sell it out. I don't know what's going to happen. Boom, it sells out. Amazing. We had such a demand for it. Well, this year I had to make it bigger and better because we have a lot of people that want to participate in it. So what we did was I listened to a lot of the ladies and the gentlemen in the league, and they want to participate and play an event over at the Jones Player Course. So what we did was we have our 11 events, number one, that'll be here at the Apple 9. They're every other week. I want to say they start like April 30th, something like that, on a Friday. These events are all on Friday nights. But we've also added 5 events on Jones Player. They're all on the calendar, and you can see them by going to our USchedule Couples League page, which you can also get to from our Lyman Orchards Golf Club website. And there'll be 5 events, especially at Jones Player. You'll see a transformation up there at Jones Player this year. They're adding a new wraparound deck around the perimeter of the property, which will overlook the 18th green on the Jones course, which will be beautiful. We're kind of waiting for that day in order to kind of have an introductory for the Ladies League. But once that's done, we'll have a little get-together up there. But Couples League will be held 5 times at Jones Player. Tee times are starting at 4 o'clock. We don't all go out at the same time. You just sign up for the time you want. So if you're getting out of work a little bit later and you want to get out there at 5:30, we'll have that 5:30 time available. You're able to sign up for the advance about 1 month in advance. Registration for that is $75, and that $75 goes towards the drink kitty. There's not any prizes. The only prizes we have are for closest to the pin. It's not really a competitive league. I think that's what makes it successful. You're just going out there, having a good time. Maybe you're trying to beat your score from the week before, but it's pretty simple format. We have to cap it at 50 couples. There's just I can't really go more than that. We're half sold out already. So if you're interested in that league, talk to your significant other, see if they want to play with you. If you can't make it to all the events, don't worry. Most ladies and gentlemen don't make it to all the events. But if you can make it to most of the events, I'd suggest signing up for Couples League. It's a really fun time. All right. I've been speaking for 30 minutes straight. I'm going to take a sip of water and answer any questions anyone has. I'm going to get out of this screen share and then pop this out. I see there's some chat here. I'm going to try to answer the questions that are in the chat first. Bear with me while I pull all that up.
John.
Yeah. Hey, Marissa.
Let me save you time.
Oh, good.
I wrote the 2 questions down. There's just some chit chat going back and forth. Maximum gin handicap for the league is what?
Greg, do you know the answer to that?
I believe it would be 36.
I'll look into that to make sure. I know there's some rule changes with handicaps in the past 2 years. I will look into that.
Okay. And prize money, is that carried over from last year?
I took it and I put it in my pocket. No, we're carrying it over. We're carrying it over because of the pandemic, and we know we could only offer so many things here at this Apple 9. It's carrying over. I still think the best thing you could spend it on is a lesson with Marissa or Andra, but if you want to buy some really beautiful garments that Cassidy's brought in, please check out our shop. Support both. How about that? You don't have to pick and choose.
The tees that were up top, will they be like the forward tees? Someone was saying special tees, but that's
Marissa, I can ask my question directly. Not a problem. So last year, John, they had those special tees that were put out for some special tournament, like the forward red tees that are not really normal. Are those still going to be the same red tees again as last year, or are they going to go back to the normal red tees, the normal forward tees that are on the scorecard and everything for this year? Like when you say red tees, what does that mean for this year?
It's a good question. It's something that I had a feeling we were going to have this question. Then thank you for bringing it up. So the red tees, which I was speaking of, are those super forward tees. We're getting them rated by the CSGA. There'll be a true rating for them. We wanted to make that golf course a little bit simpler for the ladies and gentlemen who just don't have the length. Now the gold tees that you remember from last year, those are actually staged where the red tees had been for 40 years. So that'll be the gold. The gold tees are the old reds, but the reds are the ones that start at the beginning of the fairway on some of those holes. A couple of them had side hill lies, like on number 9. There's only so much we can do there, but there'll be both options, and they'll be rated by the CSGA properly, and that's why we'll be able to offer that bigger prize pool, one prize pool, as opposed to splitting it up and having Greg pay out 2 different groups.
Great. So you also answered my follow-up question, so thank you for that. And then my third follow-up question for that same thing is on the player course, and I'm going to get the hole wrong, but there's that really long carry on, I want to say it's like hole 4. It might be 5, but there's that really long carry, and the red tees are normally, you don't have to do that carry, but you guys left the gold tees where you still had to do that carry. Are those moving? Because I can't tell you how many times, and again, I obviously want to play competitively, otherwise I wouldn't be asking these questions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to cheat though and move up, and because there's no way I can even carry that, and I've got a very long drive. So I would move up to where the 40-year ago red tees would be. Is that hole moving, or is that truly going to be where those gold tees are going to be?
So I think we're talking about hole 3, if I'm not mistaken, on player.
Yes.
I think I might be speaking with Nancy Kochko. I don't know if she's here right now about that hole specifically. Greg and I are going to have to do a little research on how to handle that specific hole and where to put the tees. We might have to just have everybody tee off from that forward tee because of the forced carry. It might be just too long of a forced carry. Greg and I are going to have to go out there. I want to take a good look at it and see the exact yardage of the carry in order to make a decision, but that'll be made clear by week 1 where we're going to have everybody tee off on number 3.
Okay.
But
My random 2 cents is it's not necessarily too long, but the positioning of it, there's a effing tree right in front of you. Like, it's more that issue that I have with it more than anything, just from, again, my Vanessa Teeter 2 cents that nobody knows me from Adam except for Marissa and Andrew.
I didn't even know the tree would be an issue, so I wrote down tree and length, and I promise you we'll go out there and take a look.
Yeah, that tree might not be an issue today, but it sure as hell is in July.
Sure, when it's green and full of leaves, depending on how far back they put that gold tee, because our superintendent does rotate that box aggressively. If it's there's something to look at there. I'll have to take a look.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure.
How come we didn't just leave the red tees where the red tees were for the 40 years and make the new short tees, the gold, closer?
Tradition.
Would that make it less confusing?
I think it's the tradition. Yes, a little bit, because the scorecard was butchered because of that movement of the tee. It's just that I think it's the traditional color pattern on a golf course. Red is the most forward, followed by generally gold, white, blue, black. I know a lot of courses are getting into trendy colors out there with teals and purples and things like that. But that is why that happened. We just pushed the red up. Like I said, Jason Beeford, he has a new scorecard that at some point will be released, and it'll reflect the proper yardages on all of the holes on Jones Player, from red, then gold, then white.
And my other question is, on the competitive league, how come you're not playing against another competitive person? Like, do you even know who you're playing against, or is that not how you have it structured?
It's not match play, it's stroke play. So let's just say that there's 30 ladies that are competing in the competitive league. you're playing against those other 30 ladies. Some of them might tee off at 4 p.m. Some might tee off at 5 p.m. You're in a big pool. It actually is running in the same manner as last year. You might not have another competitive lady in your actual foursome, but the scoring will be against all the other competitive ladies.
And wouldn't that go by your handicap though also?
Yes, handicap is involved in that. That's one of the big reasons we did the competitive league.
All right. Okay.
Hey, John.
Yes.
This is Judy Warren.
Hi, Judy.
Hi. If you choose to be in the social league and you want to play on the Jones player courses, does that mean you're not eligible for any of the weekly prizes? Or is there a social component up on the Jones and player course?
Right now, there's no social component to competition on Jones player.
All right, so you're not eligible for anything.
You would have to be part of the competitive league. If you like playing Jones player, the simplest thing is to join the competitive league. You're going to get a legitimate handicap, and you're going to play for a little bit larger prize pool. So it sounds like you like playing Jones player. It sounds like you like maybe the aspect of the prize pool. I would recommend you join the competitive league.
Okay, thanks. I like the Jones player. I don't like the competition. I just wanted to clarify that.
If you didn't want to compete and you're like, I just want to go play with my girls, you can play up there. You can still book tee times. You're just not going to be in a prize pool, except for, I guess, technically you would participate closest to the pin.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. I just wanted that clarification.
You're welcome.
John, this is Nancy. How are you?
Hi, Nancy.
If you're playing with a mixed group in your foursome, and a couple are in competitive league and a couple are in the social league, and how do you often at the end of play, whether it's on either course, one person will enter the score. Would you continue to do that, or should you enter your own, or is on the back end, that I'm in the competitive league and Ann Foley's in the social league? How?
One of the things that we tried to do is to keep this as similar as possible to last year. So let's just say me, you, Ann, and Greg go out and play, and you're doing the scoring. You just pop our scores in, and that's it. On the back end,
Okay.
It automatically knows that Nancy and Ann are in the social league and John and Greg are in the competitive league or whatever. It knows because we check a box to let it know that you're in one league or the other.
Okay, that's been my concern. So so you look at okay, that's good. And then that would be that would go towards your weekly score, whether you're playing on Apple or Jones or both.
What do you mean it goes towards your weekly?
Well, if you play in both, say I'm in the competitive league and I play in both on Tuesday morning and Wednesday. I play on Apple 9 and I play on Wednesday, and enter my score. Am I eligible for prizes in both?
In the past, and I probably should have put this in the presentation, Greg and I only pay out one prize. So let's just say you had a great day on Tuesday and Thursday. We're only going to pay you once. The first time you win is the last time you win that week. You're more than welcome to play Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon, Thursday afternoon. 5 chances to win, but you're only going to win once.
Okay, well, let me just say that was really presumptuous on me that I thought I might win, so I didn't mean that at all. So.
Well, sometimes if you're hot, you're hot. If you're hot, you're hot,
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Hey, John, I just have a question about handicap. It's Diane.
Hey, Diane.
So I haven't had a chance to complete my handicap last year because of COVID. So what do you start out with as a handicap? Max of 36? Or how do you base it? How do you start out? If you don't
I know you play a lot of golf. Do you carry a gin handicap from another club by chance, Diane?
No, I haven't. Nope.
Okay. So I have some scores, probably. Did you play with us in 2019?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot.
Okay. So I can go back and look at those scores and start basically putting in those scores. We can put them in. It's going to take a little time to find them, but we would put them in, and you would start getting rated on those scores.
Okay.
If anyone is starting from scratch, that's how we are going to have to do it in order to develop a handicap. Once the season starts out, it's going to be easier because you're going to put your own scores in, and your handicap will change from day to day if you play round. If you're in the competitive league.
Gotcha. Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome. If you're in the social league, you don't just start. If you're in the social or competitive league, you don't just start out with a 36 handicap. You actually start out with a 0. We don't want to reward anyone for not being part of the league. So you start out with 0, and you have to develop a handicap. So let's just say after the first week here on Apple 9, you shot 38, 38, 38, 3 rounds of 38. Well, that's 9 over par, so we'll just assume that's a 9 handicap. Did I miss
John,
any? Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Real quick, I think you said this, but I just wanted to confirm. Did you say we can go in and pay this year instead of calling?
Yes, thank you for asking that. I forgot to mention that. So the Apple 9 will be open, and I might have touched upon this a little, but if you feel like you still don't want to come into the shop, you can still call. We want you to come into the shop. With people coming into the shop and the phone ringing, it's going to be a lot more of a handful for my team to multitask, but you can come into the shop. But if you're still hesitant to come indoors, that's fine too. You can call.
John, this is Mary Almeida. How are you?
How are you?
Good. So a quick question. For the Jones player with the competitive league, I don't know if there's any thought been given for like the months of like June, July, August, when the days are longer, if there's any way tee times can be put later on, like even up to 5:30, just for those of us that really can't get out of work earlier.
Greg, write that down to talk to Jason about adding a late time or two on Wednesdays.
Thanks.
Late time. I'm sure that based on, the latest you'll be able to play till is about 8:30. So even if we made a special arrangement, if you and 3 other ladies in the league wanted to play at 6 o'clock on July 1st, I'm sure we could accommodate that late request. We do try to put all the ladies together in one big group, so they're competing under the same sun at the same time in the same weather, if possible. But once in a while we'll make an exception. I know in Apple 9 I had a group of ladies here who wanted to play 18 holes, so they played the morning 9 and they followed it up with an afternoon 9, and I made that exception that one week to let them compete in the afternoon event.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Did I miss anything in the chat? Let's see here. Marissa said she went through a lot of the stuff in the chat. Prize money carries over. If I don't have anyone in particular to play with, do I sign up in a blank slot? Good question. The answer is yes. Someone's going to eventually sign up with you. This league has 160 participants last year. You might just be getting to the tee sheet first. And since the early bird gets the worm, you can probably pick the time you want. So don't be afraid to pick a blank slot. If you see a group with 3 ladies, pop your name in there to be a 4th too. That's obviously fine as well. But and generally, we don't tell you that in golf. Generally, we don't take single tee times. It's one of the benefits of playing in league play. We know it's going to fill up. So if you see a blank slot, you can pop your name right in there. Let's see here. Yes.
And John, this is Nancy again, and I highly endorse that because, we've met all of us here have met some great people, and it's fun to play with different people. So I encourage it. It's really fun.
Thank you.
John, this is Judy Warren again, and you may have said this, so I apologize if I'm making you repeat it. But if you do choose to go to the competitive league, how do we get that handicap?
So let's say you played the entire month of April in the social league, and then you wanted to go to competitive league. Is that your question?
Or even if you want to just start out in the competitive league.
Okay. So what we'll do is we'll take your score from last year. Generally, I don't think anyone who's never played golf before is going to want to jump into the competitive league. So that means this player has to have some scores from last year. We have them. They're in the system. So we'll find them, and we'll probably have to manually put them in. Greg, you heard that, right? Manually? We'll have to probably manually put them in. And then you'll have a handicap developed the next day. The USGA now does a handicap revision every day. They used to do it every 2 weeks. So the next day when you wake up, you'll have an official handicap after we put in 10 rounds from last year or 8 rounds from last year, or how many ever you played.
So every time you play, it could potentially change?
Correct. And every time you play a different course as well. So let's just say you and the girls want to go play Fenwick because you heard Audrey Hepburn's house is beautiful and you want to go play down there near the shore. You're supposed to post that score. So you got to find Fenwick on the list and say Fenwick 36, put the score in. That's how a real handicap is developed. A lot of people don't do that. I'm going to insist that everybody turns their scores in when they play the Apple 9, Jones, and Player. I can't really control what you do when you're off property, but you're technically supposed to do that unless the format of the tournament doesn't set up for it. For instance, let's say you played a non-profit tournament where it's a 4-person scramble. Well, you would never be able to post a score because you didn't play your own ball out.
Right. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
John, it's Vanessa Teeter again. Question for you. Is it possible at all to not just play the front 9 of Jones and Player constantly and actually get us out on the back 9 every once in a while?
I have a little bit of good news in that regard. Last year, as you remember, our tournament schedule went kaput because of COVID. Because the tournament schedule is back in play, they'll have shotgun tournaments quite a bit up there. And what that does is it frees up the entire golf course in the afternoon. That will allow us to start play on the back 9 of Player or the back 9 of Jones a little. And I don't mean every other week a little, I mean a few times. I know it kind of stinks because I think the best 9 on this property is the back 9 of the Player course. It's just a beautiful back 9. And so I will tell you that it will happen a few times. I have no clue what weeks it is on the calendar. That's something that I don't even know if Jason or Ashley might be the one to ask regarding that question. But there will be a few opportunities to play the backs.
I guess that's better than a flat out never, sorry.
I know. Well, I'd love to tell you every other week. And some courses do that. Our course doesn't set up for it, especially Player. In order to do that, we'd have to start everybody from 6 in the morning on the 10th hole. So if we started everybody, and the 10th hole is nowhere near the clubhouse. So it's a nightmare logistically to manage from the Player. From the Jones, it could be done, but as you remember from going up to Jones Player, number 1 on Jones and number 1 on Player, what's between them? The starter hut. And it's just easy to manage, and that's why we start people mostly 99.9% of the time on 1 for league play. Let's see here. Any more questions here? Did you mention when the league starts this year? Oh, I probably didn't. I think April 6th. Let me look at the calendar here. First opportunity to win is going to be Tuesday, April 6th. I don't think any of the holidays fall on the calendar. The 4th of July, I think, is a Sunday this year, so we don't have to worry about that not being on the calendar. You'll notice on the calendar that the days that we have a special event, and those are either Tuesdays or Thursdays for the Golfer Fun Scrambles, and then as well for Women's Golf Day, which I think is a Tuesday, and the Play for Pink is on a Tuesday. There won't be an afternoon competition at the Apple 9. You'll notice that on the calendar. So if you're like, hey, why is there nothing going on Apple 9 Tuesday, April 27th? I don't know. I'm just throwing a date out there. That's because we have the big event up top, and we would like you to go to that. All right, so let's see here. Is the Apple 9 rated for gin? I believe it is. I believe it is. I know that it is. I think it's only rated, it has one rating. I don't think it's rated from all 3 tees, but we'll use the one rating that it is rated from. Could you go over the membership fees for the year, please? Whoever asked, Margot asked that question. Membership fees meaning season pass at the Apple 9 or membership fees just for the league, Margot? Oh, okay. Apple 9, I know off the top of my head. So Apple 9, there is a single season pass at $6.99. Includes all your greens fees all year, including league greens fees. If you're joining as a couple, and we mean significant other couple, we're okay with mother, daughter, father, son, stuff like that, but not me and my girlfriend who like to play every week together in the league. That's not what we mean by couples league. We mean significant other generally. That's going to be $8.99. So the 2 players would play greens fees $8.99. Family up to 5. Everyone who lives in that same household, $9.99. It's a complete steal. It's like robbery to think that you can be a member at a club for season pass holder for $9.99. That also includes every range ball that you hit. It also includes a 10% discount on merchandise, and some people don't know this, a 10% discount on instruction. On to Jones Player. Give me a second and I'll pull it up. It's a little more aggressive. Golf club. Bear with me.
Hey, John, I got it right here.
You got it? I was going to put it. Okay, you can talk about it and I'll put it up in the background.
Yeah, so the full membership is $34.15. That's included tax. That's pretty much full access to all 45 holes. Spousal add-on on top of that would be $14.02. Here, let me just back out of here real quick.
I put it on the screen for everyone. I hope they can see it. So that's the full membership fee there. Can everyone see this on the screen? Is it going on?
Yes.
Okay. So there it is, kind of there in living color. Full membership, spousal add-on. So you're looking at $4,400 if you want the full plan. There's a weekday plan, which would be ideal if you were just playing in Ladies League, and a lot of retirees won't step foot on property on the weekend. So we developed a weekday plan. That would be $2,000 for one person, $2,750 with the spousal add-on. That gets you access to all the courses, not just Jones Player. It gets you access to both practice facilities, not just Jones Player. Twilight. Greg, explain Twilight. What is it, after 1 p.m.?
Yeah, so Twilight's after 1 p.m. on the player, or 1 p.m. on the Jones course, 12 p.m. on the player course.
And then there's a junior-only membership. Obviously, I don't think it's applying to anyone in this league, but we have that as well. And then there's a weekday corporate membership. Greg, maybe you could throw it out there. Maybe there's some ladies interested in that.
Yeah, so the corporate membership is for a business. So a business check or card is going to be needed with that. But it just gives a business availability to come out and play.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions with that I can address here? I'll take a look at that chat one more time. I can find it. Do we contact you about adding tee times on Wednesday a.m.? we really want those times are the ones we want filled up. Once they fill up, we'll add them. But if you have a special arrangement for 1 week where you want to add at 8 in the morning, Greg and the team up there will be able to help you. But generally, we don't want to do that. We want to keep everybody in that slot for Wednesday a.m. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this to YouTube. I'm going to send an email tomorrow to everyone in case they missed anything so that they can watch the video again if they want to, or share it with someone who might have missed this. Please feel free to share with anyone who's thinking about playing in the league but just didn't show up here today. I'll be updating that Golf Genius page and sending a link to you with all the rules that I had mentioned. And yeah, we have a great year in plan. We have a great year in store here. The Lyman family takes a lot of pride in spending the money they make back into the golf course. We're doing a $1.4 million renovation of the irrigation system on the player course that starts in October. You're going to see this wraparound porch built. If you've been to the Apple 9, you've seen we have the simulators built all winter long. It's really enhanced the property. And yeah, we're ready to roll for 2021. So I thank everybody very much. And like I said, if anyone has any other questions, feel free to email myself or Greg specifically with Apple 9 questions. I'll take them. I'll have the better answer. Specifically with Jones Player, Greg is the one who's going to be able to handle those a little bit better. But thank you so much for your time. I got to go pick up my dog from daycare, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, John.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good job, John.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.